everyone, my name is Victoria and thank you for coming by my channel, Our Living Book, where I will be talking about all things related to homeschooling via the Charlotte Mason method and just large family mom life and whatever else comes to mind. Like I said, I am a homeschooling mom. I have 4 boys and 1 on the way. We chose to homeschool via Charlotte Mason's method, which we love a lot, so much. It works out beautifully for our family. I'm very passionate about it. I love talking about it, and which is the reason why I am starting this channel. I actually came to know about Charlotte Mason on accident. We didn't initially start homeschooling. It wasn't something that we planned to do always. It was thrown at us out of necessity. And, I used a workbook-based curriculum, which was perfect for what we needed at the time. Our oldest son, who is now in the 5th grade, actually went to a private Christian classical school for kindergarten. We were blessed to have scholarships for. And we really did want to continue on with that methodology. We really appreciated it, and he enjoyed it a lot. And so I didn't really know how to make that happen at home. When we started, he was going into the 1st grade. I had a baby. I just had a baby, and shortly after the school year started, we came to find out we were going to have another baby, and I was just really overwhelmed. So we kind of put that desire aside for a few years. And then I was at a co-op meeting. Let's fast forward about to when my son is finishing up 3rd grade. We're at a co-op meeting, and I'm chatting with some other of my mom friends and asking about different classical curriculums, and I was getting frustrated because the ones that I were finding weren't quite what I was hoping for, and for the money it wasn't worth it to me. And somebody shared with me a curriculum online that was free syllabus and free lesson plans called Mater Amabilis. I had never heard of Mater Amabilis. They kind of introduced it to me as classical, and so I looked it up when I got home. That night I spent hours online on the Mater Amabilis website, looking things up, pouring through their syllabus and lesson plans for 4th grade, which is where my son was going into at the time. And I noticed, the books are the same. I mean, I was kind of questioning. I was like, this is free? Is this legit? Is this any good? I noticed the books were similar to a lot of other classical book lists I was looking at. They mentioned something about Charlotte Mason, and I didn't really know who that was or what they were about. I mean, I did a little bit of, Googling and, something about living books and things like that. And I was already kind of familiar with the concept of living books just from being interested in a classical method of education. It wasn't until I joined the Mater Amabilis Facebook group that I really started to understand just a little bit of who Charlotte Mason was, when she lived, what she was all about, why her method is different than a lot of modern approaches to education. So, I started learning, and little by little started to gain greater understanding. In the meantime, 4th grade started. We started using this curriculum, and it was amazing. My son loved it. He says that it was, a lot better than what he had been doing the previous 3 years for 1st, 2nd, and 3rd grade. Like I said, we were just using a workbook-based curriculum. It was a really, reputable curriculum. I still think it's a great curriculum, but it didn't engage him the way that he needed to be engaged. It didn't help foster in him a love of learning, the actual process to learn, He didn't find the things very interesting that he was reading about, and and he didn't really appreciate the busy work that comes along with the workbook-based curriculum. So we started 4th grade with the Charlotte Mason curriculum, and we fell in love. We were sold. So we were still kind of like tossing up, well, do we want this Charlotte Mason method of education for our kids? Do we still want a classical method of education? I didn't really understand the differences between the two. They were really similar to me in terms of material and ideas. Charlotte Mason's method lacks the trivium, some other things that not so much focus on this rigorous memory work in the early years, and things like that. I could probably do another video discussing those differences another time. To me though, they seemed to go hand in hand. They weren't like so incredibly different to me. I didn't feel like I was way off the mark from what we had originally wanted to do. Now I understand, I have come to the conclusion that Charlotte Mason's method is the truest sense of classical education. But like I said, another conversation, another video, probably. So just really quick, who is Charlotte Mason? She was a woman who lived at the turn of the 20th century. She herself was not married, did not have any children, but had a lot of really good ideas when it came to educating children. Started a school in England, and her students thrived, and she left behind her volumes that we can read to this day, and they're available for free online. I can put a link to those as well. You could also buy the reprinted versions of them. And you have a lot of people, it's growing in popularity, Charlotte Mason's method, and I think it's because people are starting to understand the value of it. She believed children were persons that needed to be treated as such. They have valuable things to say, and they think. She doesn't regard children the way that you might be accustomed to seeing children being spoken to in a public school setting, for example. Her focus is a lot on living books. Living books is basically a real book, not a textbook, but a book that goes into great detail in an engaging story-like manner about any one given topic. And that way the child can really learn about that thing. Instead of reading abridged versions of books, or shortened versions of books, or watered down versions of books, you're reading the real classics. So my 5th grader has been reading Shakespeare for 2 years, and he really enjoyed Shakespeare. And that's not really something that you would normally see a 5th grader reading. So I think it's pretty awesome, and I think that it helps to just add a little something extra to their education that they might not otherwise have. So I really love Charlotte Mason, really love her method. I think it's awesome. I think that that's going to wrap it up for this video. This is just my first video, or my debut video, whatever you want to call it. I plan on making many more. I do have, a list of topics that I'd like to discuss, but I would really love to know what you would like to hear about from me. Whether it's related to educating via Charlotte Mason's method, specific curriculum picks or book picks, tips and tricks. I'd love to talk about all these things. Being a mom of almost 5 boys now, it definitely makes things very fun and interesting here. So yeah, comment, leave me a comment below. You can also shoot me an email, find me on Facebook or Instagram. You can follow me on Pinterest. I have a lot of fun stuff there. Please, if you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up, subscribe, and I hope to see you back soon. Thank you.